G'day YouTubers, I will preview this week's round of the AFL games. Before I start, it will be muchly appreciated if you can subscribe, comment and like. Every subscriber will be very much appreciated. Alright, let's get the show started. Let's go! Yeah! My round 20 review is I selected Carlton to beat the Power, disappointed, Power won. I got the Cats to beat the Kangaroos, woohoo! I got the Lions to beat the Suns in the derby, yeah! Unfortunate, I tipped Essendon to beat St Kilda, the Saints were too good. I got the Giants to beat the Demons, woohoo! I got Freo to beat West Coast, yeah! I selected Collingwood to beat the Tigers, yes! I got Sydney wrong against the Bulldogs, damn it! And the last game, I also got the Crows wrong against the Hawks, bad luck. Therefore, I selected 5 out of 9 correct. My total in season 2024 is 109 votes. Hopefully I do better this week. My 3-2-1 Brownlow leaderboard after round 20 are in top spot is P. Cripps Mountain with 31 votes. In second spot is N. Bakers Collingwood with 28 votes. And in third spot is A. Tulor Western Bulldogs with 26 votes. These are my 3-2-1 votes after round 20. The first game of the week is on the Friday night between the Western Bulldogs and the Melbourne Demons. The Doggies had a magnificent win against the Swans last week and the Demons lost to the Giants at home. The players in the mix for the Doggies are McRae, Keith and Sanders. For the Demons, their players in the mix are Sparrow, Jefferson and Hunter. The players injured for the Doggies are Johannesson, Smith and Gardner. The players injured for the D's are Salem, Spargo, Brown and Petrarca. If you compare the ruck midfield setup of both sides, you got English and Gawn. It's pretty even, but I'll just give the chocolates to Gawn. Then you got Bontempelli against Oliver. Bontempelli is playing like a top 5 player in the league. Oliver is not at his usual best, but he's still been playing well. So I'll give the chocolates to the Bont. Tulor against Winey. Winey is a great extractor. Tulor can go inside, but also goes on the outside and contributes with lots of disposals. Then you've got the hardball Libber against Rivers. Rivers is more outside, so they do 2 different type of players, but say it's even between the two. And you got McRae against Sparrow. That's pretty even between the 2 players. So just give the chocolates to the Western Bulldogs ruck midfield setup. Based on this, I'm going to tip the Doggies to win this game. It's played at Marble on a Friday night. Doggies in good form. The Demons are struggling at the moment, so I'll choose the Doggies. The second game on the Friday night is a double header in Western Australia between West Coast and Gold Coast Suns. Last week, West Coast Eagles lost to the Fremantle Dockers in the derby, and the Suns lost to the Lions in their local Q Crash derby. The players in the mix for the Eagles are McGovern, Sheed and Gaff. For the Suns, their players in the mix are Sexton, Atkins and Virini. The players injured for the Eagles are Brockman, Hewitt, Long and suspension to Hutchinson and Pescatelli. The players injured for the Suns are Ellis, Weller, Witts, Ainsworth, Miller, Caspel and Ulan to suspension. If we compare the ruck midfield setup of both sides, for the Eagles you got Bailey Williams against Moyle. Williams is pretty competitive against the 2 Fremantle rucks of Darcy and Jackson, but he'll still outplay by 2. Say that's even between Williams and Moyle. Then you got Gimby against Anderson. Gimby is a hard inside mid against Anderson, who's very great on the outside. I'll give the chocolates to Anderson. Then you got Kelly for the Eagles, who's an outside mid, against Rao, who's an inside bull. Rao will get a lot of possessions inside, whereas Kelly's more outside. So it's even between the 2. Then you got Jay Williams against Holman. They'll be even between the 2 players. Then you got the class of Harley Reid against Flanders. Flanders gathers a lot of possession, but Reid can hurt. He's got a hurt factor with his goal kicking ability from midfield. Based on the midfield, it's pretty even between the 2 sides. Given that Gold Coast can't win away and have been struggling and they lost in the derby last week, and West Coast also lost in their derby, I'm going to tip Gold Coast to win this game. The next game is between North Melbourne and Richmond. The Kangaroos lost to Geelong in Tasmania last week and Richmond lost to Collingwood. The players in the mix for the Kangaroos are King and Bergman. For the Tigers, their players in the mix are Sonsi, Blight and Pickett. The players injured for the Kangaroos are Goda, Coleman Jones and George. The players injured for the Tigers are Ranto, Nankervis, Lynch, Ross, Maurice Rioli, Gibcus, Lafu, and Martin. If you compare the ruck midfield set on both sides, in ruck for the Kangaroos, you got Xeri against Ryan. I expect Xeri to dominate against Ryan. Then in midfield, you got David Giniaki against Banks. David Giniaki to dominate against Banks, and they'll give the chocolates to LDU. Then you got Scott against Prestia. It's pretty even between those two players. Then you got young Sheasel against Baker. I expect Sheasel to dominate against Baker. Then you got young Powell of the Kangaroos against Ralph Smith. That's pretty even between the two midfields. Based on the ruck midfield setup, I expect the Kangaroos ruck midfield to dominate against the Tigers, and the Kangaroos have been more competitive than Richmond in the last month of games. And North Melbourne have the twin forwards of Combine and Larkey to kick enough goals. So therefore, I'm going to tip the Kangaroos to win this game. And this is battle for the wooden spoon, or battle for the number 1 draft pick. And I expect North Melbourne to win this game and climb off the bottom of the ladder. The next game is between Geelong and the Crows. Last week, Geelong easily beat North Melbourne, and the Crows were awful and got smashed by Hawthorn. The players in the mix for the Cats are Parfitt and Hardy. For the Crows, their players in the mix are Smith and Dawson. The players injured for the Cats are Wilkshire, Cam Guthrie and Hawkins. The players injured for the Crows are Watts, Murray, Parnell, Millera, and Rankin is still suspended. If you compare the ruck midfield set on both sides, you got Blick Kaz against O'Brien. I expect O'Brien to win the hitouts, but Blick has to have more influence around the ground as he acts as another midfield when the ball hits the ground. Then you got Holmes against Dawson. Holmes is a very fast, speedy midfield. Dawson is one of the best kickers in the league, so I'll give the chocolates to Dawson. Then you got Henry against Laird. I expect Henry to contribute more than Laird in the midfield. Then you got Duncan against Saligo. Duncan's a good experienced player, but Saligo is an up-and-coming player who can go inside and outside, so I'll give the chocolates to Saligo. Then you got young Clark against Berry. It's pretty even between those two players. Berry is more of an inside midfield bull, therefore I'll give the advantage just to the Geelong ruck midfield set. And given that the game is played in Geelong, they hardly ever lose at home, and the Crows have only won 2 away games, both at Marvel Stadium, and they struggle to play on the road. I'm going to expect Geelong to easily annihilate the Crows based on that poor performance against Hawthorn last week, what they dished up. The next game of the week is between Carlton and Collingwood. Carlton lost to Port Adelaide on the Friday night, and Collingwood easily beat Richmond. The players in the mix for the Blues are Binns, Martin and McKay. Players in the mix for the Magpies are Dean, McRae, Frampton. Players injured for the Blues are Cunningham, DeConning, Durden, Williams, Dockley and Savani. The Magpies will be missing Goey, Kruger, Tweedy, Elliott, Marchek and Mitchell. If we compare the ruck midfield set of both sides, you got Hignott against Cameron. It's pretty even between those two ruckmans. Then you got young Cripps or experienced Cripps against Nick Dacos. Nick Dacos is a gun. Cripps is also a gun. They both have different attributes. Cripps is one of the best inside mids, whereas Nick Dacos is more better on the outside. So it's even between the two players. Then you got young Sarah against Lipinski. Sarah can run all day and help out on the outside. He can get more of the ball inside. Say we give the chocolates to Sarah. Then you got Hewitt against Cripps of Collingwood. I'll give the chocolates to Cripps. And then you got Walsh against Pendlebury. Pendlebury, one of the best footy IQs. Walsh is an up-and-coming talent, former number 1 draft pick, can run all day, contributes to inside 50. Say we just give the chocolates to Walsh. Look at the ruck midfield setup. I give Cowden the chocolates in the ruck midfield. They've got more listed players that contribute more. And if McKay returns back for the Blues, he will add more scoring power to the Blues. And based on this, I'm going to tip Cowden win this game. The next game of the week is between Port Adelaide and Sydney. Port Adelaide had a brilliant win against Cowden on the Friday night, and the Swans were disappointing against the Western Bulldogs and lost at home on the Sunday. Players in the mix for the Power are Williams, Lord and McKenzie. For the Swans, their players in the mix are Hamling, Laddams and Sheddery. The players injured for the Power are Power Pepper, Soldo and Finlayson. For the Swans, they'll be missing Rampy, Papley, Rowbottom and Milliken. If you compare the ruck midfield set on both sides, you got Sweet against Grundy. Grundy, All-Australian ruckman. I expect him to dominate against Jordan Sweet. In midfield, you got Butters against Jordan. Jordan is a hard inside mid. Butters can go inside and outside, but very explosive on the outside. Then you got Captain Rosie against
Adams. I expect Rosie to dominate over Adams. Then you got Oliver Wines against Chad Warner. Wines is an inside bull. Chad Warner is inside and outside. Give the advantage to Warner. Then you got William Drew against Gordon. William Drew is also an inside midfield bull, whereas Gordon is more outside and can cut him apart with his disposal, one of the best kickers in the league. Looking at the ruck midfield setup, I just give the chocolates to Port Adelaide. Given that the power playing at home, the Swans are copping injuries now week after week, and they're in a form slump. I guess they're still in top spot and they're just preparing for finals. Port has a must-win game to steal a spot in the top 4. And based on this, and given that the game is played in Adelaide, I'm going to tip the Power to win this game. The next game is between GWS and Hawthorn, game of the week. Last week, the Giants beat the Demons by 2 points, and Hawthorn smashed the Crows in Adelaide. The players in the mix for the Giants are Haynes, Brown and Aaliyah. With Hawks, their players in the mix are Hustler, Mitchell and McKenzie. The players injured for the Giants are Ahin, Bruce, Kelly and Rowson. The players injured for the Hawks are Blanc, Butler and Lewis. If you compare the ruck midfield setup on both sides, you got young Brooks against young Meek. Say that's even between the two ruckmans. Then you got Tom Green of the Giants against Newcombe. Tom Green is a midfield ball. He gets a lot of contested possessions. Newcombe also, but he's also adding goal kicking to his repertoire. So just give the chocolates to Tom Green. You got Kangaroos against Day. Day is one of the best young talents going around, and I expect Day to do better against Kangaroos. Then you got Ward and Warpel, both hard inside mids. So that's even between the two. Then you got young Finn Callaghan against McKenzie. That's also even between the two players. Based on the ruck midfield setup, Hawks just edged the Giants over this position. However, given that the game is played in Canberra, both teams in good form, the Giants are doing well with their orange tsunami, I'm going to just tip the Giants to just win in a thriller. So therefore, I'll tip, the Giants to win this game. The next game of the week is between Essendon and Freo. Essendon's disappointed and lost to St Kilda, and Freo demolished West Coast in the derby. The players in the mix for the Bombers are Setterfield, Casas, Hobbs, Pine and Caldwell. The players in the mix for Freo are Erastus, Hubner and Brody. The players injured for the Bombs are Goofy, Harris, El Hardy and Baldwin. The Dockers will be missing Pearce, McDonald, Corbett, Walters and 5 to suspension. If you compare the ruck midfield setup of both sides, you got Draper against Darcy. I expect Darcy to beat Draper. And also Fremantle has Luke Jackson as a reserve ruckman who can also double team and help out against Draper. So I give Fremantle rucks the advantage. Then you got Durham against Young. Durham's a good player. Young is one of the best elite kickers in the league. I just give the chocolates to Young. Then you got young Dersma against Sarong. Dersma is a good outside player. Sarong is inside and also go be on the outside. And Sarong is playing like a top 10 player in the league right now. So I give the chocolates to Sarong. Then you got Merritt against Rachel. Merritt is an accumulator of the ball who averages 30 plus possessions. Rachel can also average a lot of possessions. Say that's even between the two players. Then you got Caldwell against Brody, if Brody is selected, and also if Caldwell is also selected from concussion. Say that's even between the two players. Looking at the ruck midfield setup, I just give the advantage to Fremantle. However, Fremantle has been struggling away, and the Bombs have lost 4 games in a row. And just based on numbers, I'm going to expect Essendon to finally win a game. They can't lose 5 games in a row. They can, but I'm going to choose based on theory that they're not going to lose 5 in a row, and I'm going to tip the Bombers to beat the Dockers. The last game of the week is between St Kilda and Brisbane. St Kilda had a magnificent win against the Bombers, and the Lions beat the Suns in the derby. The players in the mix for the Saints are Dow, Patton and Cordy. Brisbane, their players in the mix are Lyons, Merrill, Robinson and Andrews. Players injured for the Saints are Crouch, King, Manners and Henry. The players injured for the Lions are Payne, Gardner, McCarthy, Coleman and Done. If we compare the ruck midfield setup of both sides, you got Marshall against McInerney. I expect Marshall to dominate against McInerney, and he also contributes around the field with possessions. Then you got Ross against McCluggage. I expect McCluggage to beat Ross on the outside with his outside run and carry around the field. Then you got Hill against Neil. Hill's a good outside player. Neil is an inside-outside, but gets a lot of contested position and adding goal kicking to his repertoire. Then you got Captain Steele against Dudley. It's pretty even between those two players. Then you got the tagger Windhager against Jared Berry. I expect Berry to edge out over Windhagen. looking at the ruck midfield setup, I give the chocolates to the Lions setup. And then if they get enough inside 50, they can feed the ball to Cameron, Danaher, and Hipwood. And therefore, Brisbane's on an 8-game winning streak. I expect this streak to continue, even though St Kilda has won 3 of the past 4 games. And therefore, I'm going to tip the Lions to win this game. My tips for this round are Bulldogs over Melbourne, the Suns to finally win on the road, the Kangaroos to beat the Tigers, Geelong to easily beat the Crows, Houghton to beat Collingwood, the Power to beat the Swans, the Giants to beat the Hawks, Bombers to beat Freo, the Lions to beat the Saints. Thank you for watching my video. If you like my video, it would be very much appreciated if you can subscribe, comment and like. Every subscribe will be much appreciated. I hope to see you again next time. Thank you. Cheers.